Hi team, and welcome back to Doctor's Notes. In this video, I'm going to share with you my three-part strategy for studying concepts in human anatomy and physiology for the purpose of lab. So I'm coming to you from the perspective of having gone through medical school. I was somebody who didn't always know that I wanted to be a doctor. And so actually when I started medical school, I had zero anatomy experience. So I can relate to a lot of you when you feel overwhelmed by identifying things and learning your way around the human body. And so what I hope to accomplish in this video is tips to help you amplify and make more effective your study strategy so that learning all these concepts not only becomes more fun, but also really becomes more effective so that you're enjoying learning the concepts, but also getting the grade that you want. I'm also coming from the perspective of adjunct faculty. So now I'm in a role where I talk about human anatomy and physiology to students who are learning about these concepts. And so I'm sharing this with you because we have just finished exam number 1 and quiz number 1. And while many of you who have taken my sections before are feeling really comfortable, I know that there are some of you out there who have not taken my sections and are feeling maybe a little lost as to how to study and how to most effectively prepare for my lab assessments. And so I've simplified the strategy to 3 parts. The first being taking the time before your assigned lab section to review the PowerPoints. I do my best to post them at the end of Monday, so beginning of the week, at least 24 hours, okay, maybe 12 hours before your scheduled lab section. And so I would certainly recommend skimming through those slides to give you an idea and framework as to what we'll be talking about in lab so that you can start gathering your questions or start identifying topics that you know right off the bat are going to give you a hard time. And I say that because we only have 1 hour in lab together now, and so there isn't a lot of time to discuss things in depth. So as faculty, I am now challenged with trying to get through all these important material, figuring out which one is most high yield, which one is most important for helping you understand the big picture when it comes to understanding the human body and how it works, but also trying to do all that in 1 hour or less. So if you take the time before lab, maybe even 10 minutes to skim through those slides, that will help make your time in lab with me a whole lot more effective and a whole lot more efficient. Step 2 will be downloading the terms list for the topic that we'll be discussing. So GCU does this really neat thing where when you go into your LoudCloud under path and the specific topic that we're talking about, you will find on GCU letterhead what we call a topics or terms list, and it lists all the questions, concepts that we want for you to be able to understand and talk about by the time we're done talking about that topic. Because we're also a lab, it is so important that you're able to identify and look for certain structures, whether that's on a histology slide or on a model or on a cadaver, if you are in my Bio 211 sections. So it will give you a list of all the things that you should be able to identify. And that's really important because, as you know, in any quiz or exam that we do in lab, at least half of the questions are going to be, can you identify certain structures? And I know that we will have less than an hour with the cadavers and models in lab. The Anatomy Mentoring Center is available to you, but they are accepting appointments on an appointment-only basis, and they can only have 12 students in there at any one time. So if you can imagine how many students are trying to get in there around quiz or exam weeks, it can get really difficult to get that time. So much more important to maximize the hour that you have with me in your assigned lab sections. So when you print out that terms or topics list and you bring it to lab, it helps you make sure that you know at least where the whereabouts of where to find certain structures, and then it gives you the time to ask me specifically, your instructor, where to find these certain structures. Step 3 would be taking that topic list or terms list after your lab section, and then making a one-page study guide with all the important concepts I highlighted during lab. So here's what brings me to another important part that I really would like for you to understand. I was a student for a really long time. I never really liked it when my professors talked about all these things and it didn't even really matter in the long run. So I promise you, when I do my best to make sure that I'm spending your time most efficiently and most appropriately. So if I'm spending time on a topic or I'm emphasizing certain things during lab, I'm pretty transparent about what I feel is important, because I'll say things like, I would know this really well, or I would focus on this, or I would asterisk, highlight, underline, italicize, whatever it is to show you how important a certain word or structure or certain concept is. I'm not doing that to waste your time, so please take those hints. I really do my best to try and help you out and help you focus in on your studying so that you're effective with your time and you're getting the grades that you're working for. Okay, so from this, the 3-step process is: step 1, take time to review the slides posted before your assigned lab section. Step 2, make sure you bring your terms list or topics list printed out from your LoudCloud to your assigned lab section so that you can reference the structures that we want you to identify during lab. And also during lab, when I'm talking about certain concepts and emphasizing certain things, making notes about those things so that you can hone in on those concepts when you're studying closer to the quiz or exam. And the third thing is, after labs, taking some time to sit down with the terms list and topics list and all the notes that you've collected while we were in our lab sections together, and compiling your own study guide. Hopefully it's just a one-pager, because if you did it right and if you did it most effectively, you should be able to get all those important concepts in one page, at most one page, 8.5 by 11 inches, double-sided. Okay, and I think that you'll find that's going to be really helpful as you approach the 48-hour mark before a quiz or exam, where now you only have to go through 1 to 2 pages of really important notes, as opposed to 50 PowerPoint slides or multiple resources. That in itself can be overwhelming. And let's face it, I know this isn't the only lab or class that you have this semester. So I know that you have to split your time amongst other classes. So if you try this strategy, let me know how it works for you. I will also say that most of us tend to be kinesthetic and visual learners, and so this 3-step process is based on this assumption. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on this strategy after trying it out. So please let me know either in the comments below or sending me a note on your private forum messaging system through LoudCloud or by email. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found it very helpful. I will see you in lab.